tafadhali, soon as mtu akishaanza kukuwekelea mikono, soon as wewe ukiona your husband ameanza kuwa physical, soon as ukiona your wife ameanza kuwa physical, they don't want to talk anymore. They scream all the time. They shove you around. They have started to do things that are contrary to what you guys agreed wakati mlifunga harusi ama ndoa. When you got married, you say it was till death do you part. But this individual now ameleta watu wengine ndani ya ndoa. Akona wanawake wengine, akona wabwana wengine. If you start seeing this kama hizi zimekuja, especially where the relationship is now physical, what we advise people is step out of that relationship. I didn't say divorce. Step out of that relationship, because many a times individuals need to see what they have, and they never see what they have until that thing is no longer there. Kuna watu wengi sana wanafungukaga macho wakiona, my goodness, mimi sikuwa nafikiria my wife anakuanga that effective. Look at her absence. Ameenda tu holiday peke yake na mama ameenda na watoto wawili ama whatever. Just 2 days, the house is all over the place. The business is all over the place. You would not know how effective your husband is until he is not there for a week. And then you will know, surely this man anakuanga effective. I do not think I can do without this man. So sometimes ni necessary, kuliko hizi fujo na ghasia ziingie sana, step out. Shalom, shalom guys. Safeguarding Officer Jeff. Today is a Sunday. I said yesterday that we'll come to talk about domestic violence today. What we call DV. So I hope you guys have been good. Your families are well. You are taking care of your children. Mnaangalia watoto vizuri, and God has been faithful to you. Today being a Sunday, of course, it's a day of worship where we assemble in various places of worship to go and say thank you because of the week that has been. So I don't know if you went to church, but if you didn't go to church, I want you to know that God still loves you, and He loves your children. He loves your family. He loves your relationship, your marriage. He loves what you're doing with Him, because this type, or whatever name you want to use, of job that God gave us, of looking after our family, specifically children, it must be with God. You cannot do it alone. So anyway, I feel good, I feel humbled, I feel blessed. Yes, and today I'm ready to really come and just talk. But before we go any further, why do I want to talk about domestic violence? Kwa sababu domestic violence is one issue that really breaks families. You know, people start with love. Two individuals. If you go to the book of Matthew, the Bible talks about where a man will leave his father and mother, and he will be joined by his wife, and the two, that means the man and his wife will no longer be two, but one flesh. I don't want to go into the intricacies or the details of what really, inaendelea hapo kusema kuhusu wawili na other, but we all know about the story of that. So people start with love, and it is said that there is always three sides of the story. There is always his side, her side, and then there is the truth. Now usually it is the truth that makes people free. When you tell the truth, you make yourself free, because issues zile ambazo zingekukumba, things that would have really come to destabilize your mind, your psychological, your mental, whatever, you are relieved of them, because you have told the truth. You have spoken. That is why talk therapy is key. And that is why people who suffer from DV, they are very much encouraged to talk out, speak. Because once you start speaking, you start healing. But people who internalize things, people who choose another word that we call in psychology, bottling, or in counseling or in therapy, bottling. When you bottle, ukishaweka vitu ndani ya bottle, tunaongea kuhusu bottle, chupa. When you ukiweka vitu unafunika huko ndani, they can't go out. Wewe mwenyewe unabaki ukivimba. You start to develop some pressures inside with you because you have a lot of things that are pressuring you. They want to get out, but they can't get out because they are sealed in that bottle. What we mean is that you have a system that God is designed you as an individual to be able to release. If you look at how God designed the body, God designed that there is a mouth, this one, and specifically it's not for only for talking like I'm talking. It is one of the most or the major things what a mouth does, but it is also for eating. Now whatever you eat, including things that are of the spirit, kianza kukula, that is with not physically kukula ndani ya spirit tunaongea kuhusu you digest something. But even physically, if you eat some food, at some point you will feel that you cannot eat anymore. But because there is this mouth, there is another exit where food that you do not need, whatever you've eaten, the nutrients that are removed that are benefit to the body, the rest that is not needed, it's excreted through a back passage. So you cannot as a man eat and you are not releasing. You will burst. You will die. So the way God designed the body, the way God designed the human being is that they must eat and they must release. You can't just drink and you're not passing out urine. You're not passing out sweat. No, because the body is not designed like that. If you do that, something is bound to happen, and whatever is going to happen is not something good. So guys, today I'm about to teach. I'm about to lecture. I don't know, whatever it is. So, what we are talking about today about domestic violence is that people are encouraged to talk, because whatever people receive from their partners, their wives, their husband, their children, their family, their moms and dads, their uncles, whatever people receive from neighbors, from the village, from the community, whatever people receive from whoever they receive it from, if they receive that, they definitely keep it within themselves. Not everybody is very quick that if they go through a small thing, they are screaming and shouting throughout the village. Oh, look at what this person did, this person said this. Well, if you are like that, you are like that. There's nothing to tunaweza kusema, but at least people are able to hold on something. You are trying to analyze, look at why that happened. Why did this person behave like this? No, that it's a human being. So, but anyway, so if you start receiving a lot of things that are not building your life, that are not progressive, they are retrogressive, things that are not positive, they are negative, your system would need at some point to find a way of releasing those things, and talking is one of it. And that's why talk therapy is key. So wakati unasikia watu wakiongea huku wasema wacha niongee, what I was put through, wacha niongee, it's critical they continue to do that, because if they don't, they will keep bottling. Maybe that is the only, talking is the only way they have to release. Na wasipo release watakufa. Tumesema hauwezi ku collect and you are not giving out. Utapasuka. So you have to have a way of release. And people who suffer from DV, one of the most effective way of them to start healing is talking. That's why we see them in therapy sessions. We see them in counseling sessions. We meet with them for prayer. We meet with them for play. Play therapy is key. We meet with them to just have a normal chat, not even talking about whatever has happened, just general talk, so that they can start to understand the art of talking and releasing. This is key. So today, wakati tunaangalia hii issue ya domestic violence, watu wanaanzaga wawili wamependana, and then the issues of life zinakuja. Maybe wewe ulifanya tu kujuana na mtu, you did not go into detail getting to understand the person, kumjua, and all of a sudden what you thought was going to be the most beautiful thing that ever happened to you in your life, shortly after a few months you start to realize, I think I've made a big mistake. But now this is too late, because we are already married, the parents, tumeshalipa dowry, all these things. We have now a child that is on their way, or we have a child or 2 or 3 down the line. Now life has become complicated because of things that probably you or you both did not look, or did not plan, or did not wait, or did not do enough courting or preparation for whatever reason. But also, people, when people first meet, you can't tell them anything. You try and tell a woman that is in love that is not the husband. Try and tell a man that is about to get a beautiful wife that is not his wife. They don't listen. People start to say, I wish I'd listened. But always, mzungu alisema, I wish always comes last. So anyway, katika hii DV ya siku ya leo, not going too far because I don't want this video to be too long. When the issues of life happen, unfortunately things go very sour. And people who once, hata kama mtu angechafua hewa ungesikia kitu, all of a sudden, just to see the person irritates you. Na huyo mtu pale mbeleni, you could not eat dinner without them. You had to wait for them to get home at 10 for you to eat dinner. Yet, watoto walikula 5, 6. But you had to wait for this man, you had to wait for this woman to come so that you can eat dinner together. 5 months down the line, you can't even stand his face. You can't stand her smell. This is how bad it gets. Because once that small thing that is called love, the fire, the flame that ignited and opened your heart to hold, touch, do all these things to one another, once that flame goes off, that's it. That is how unakuta sasa watu wanaanza kuongeleshana kama kitu ingine ambaye haijawahi sikikana. They become physical. They start tormenting each other emotionally, financially, physically, sexually, mentally, in all sort of, including at a family wise, community wise. In every area, you start abusing this individual, you start manipulating the individual, you start talking trash about this person. Now that individual before hamkuwa mna separate. But anyway, so ndani ya domestic violence, tungependa leo kuacha kwenda too broad, tukuja kwa watoto. Because I think it's important, because sisi ndani tunapenda kuongea kuhusu watoto. But ndani ya watoto ni lazima tuongee kuhusu wazazi. How do children get affected by domestic violence? I would want to use an analogy about a zoologist called Lorenz Conrad. This is a zoologist who, invented, or, you can call it a theory or a law that he invented in early 1930s, I think around 1935. And it's about goslings. Unajua babata. So the story is told that Conrad alikuwa na gosling ama goose, ambaye is a type of butter, ambaye iliweza ku sit on the eggs, ikalalia mayai, and just before the goose chicks hatch, the mother died. I think something happened and the mother died. So anyway, Conrad then akazichukua hizo mayai, and within the next day or so, the little goslings had hatched. So it is said that because the mother goose had already died, when those goslings zilitokea, the first person that they saw was Conrad, this man, the zoologist. When they came out of their shells, the eggshells, the first moving object they saw was Mr. Conrad Lorenz. And guess what those goosling chicks thought? Mr. Conrad Lorenz is our mother. Because they saw him first. They had not seen anything else in the world because they just been hatched. And the first thing that they saw moving about is Mr. Lorenz. So ndani ya hao tu gusling tudogo, tulifikiria huyu mzee ndio mama yetu. Yeye ndiye ametuzaa, yeye ndiye ametuhatch, whatever it is name unataka kutumia. And then they started following the man. Wherever he went, they followed him. Na unajua goose inafuatananga na laini hivi. So Mr. Conrad, because the mother had died, he had to step in. Akaanza kuzipatia maji, akaanza kuzipatia chakula until they became big duck. Guess what? Those goosling had not known that they are not, Mr. Lorenz is not their mother. Because they had never seen their mother. They did not know how their mother looked like. But when they looked at each other, about whatever goosling that they were there, they could see that they look alike, but not like this man. But they had not known any other mother apart from huyu mzee ambaye anawapatia chakula na maji na anawalinda na anawaangalia na anawatunza from mwewe. So he made sure that these gooslings are not going to be definitely attacked by or killed by, eagles and all that, and all these bird eaters, birds of prey. So that is what we call the law of imprinting. So hii law of imprinting, ama the theory, ama whatever you want to call it, it was done by this man called Conrad Lorenz. So what am I trying to say? I am trying to say what I've been telling people all the time, that ndani ya familia, what children see is key. When children are young, what they see is fundamental. They must see something that is wonderful. They must see something that is love. They must see something that is working, something that is functioning. A dysfunctional way of life is not going to help children growth and development. It will not. Because what they see in their life, what they see you do as husband and wife, as a family, as an older brother, older sister, as a community, as an uncle, what they see you do in their early childhood will be imprinted in their mind, just like those gooslings. Wataanza kufikiria, mwanamke ni mtu wa kuchapwa kofi. You have to scream at a woman. Because that is what they are seeing you. Na wao ni wadogo. They are thinking that is the way of life. So, as adults, as parents, it's fundamental that when children are young, we lay out foundations that are critical, that are based on showing children love, taking care of them, guiding them, nurturing them the right way, not corrupting them. Because soon as you become a person that is violent, these small children that are there are going to start thinking, what is going to start getting imprinted in their mind is that violence is the way, but it is not. So ningependa kusema, of course, like I said when I started, watu huanzia wamependana sana, then things happen, you cannot even stand each other, leave alone even breathe close to each other. So, but what happens is that unfortunately, kama mkona hizo vita zote, fortunately mkona watoto. That is something that you must never allow. Just because you and this guy, you and this lady cannot stand each other, doesn't mean that you must subject children to cruelty. You must subject children to issues. You cannot start using children kama bait. You did this to me, so you're not going to see your children. You did this, I'm going to nitagonga mtoto wako, nitafanya hivi your son. No. As a mother and as a father, hatuwezi kufanya hivyo. With children, regardless of whatever has happened between you, mama and mom and dad, mama, baba, whatever it is, children must never feel the effect. They must remain loved. They must be taken care of. And this is what we preach and we sleep and we do all the time. Regardless of their color, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, doesn't matter. Ability or disability, doesn't matter. They must be taken care of. Children must see the love. They must feel the love. They must get the love. So my people, domestic violence huwa ina affect watoto namna gani? Hivyo nimewaambia that if they see bad things, those things will be imprinted in their mind, and guess what, it is going to affect their latter life, because they will grow thinking that it's going to take the hand of God for things to be removed, because something once something is imprinted in your mind, you will always see it. Guys, wacha niwapatie ka story. Wakati mimi nilikuwa mdogo, so many years ago, kuna story tulikuwa tunapatiwa ya a boy. There is kama mtu na anko yake, sema mimi and my sister. Si sasa watoto wa my sister na watoto wangu ni cousins, first cousins. So my sons goes to my sister's place. My sister ni watu wako wealthy na familia yake na bwana yake. We thank God. So when my son goes there, this is a story that is told, is not truth, but I don't know, I think it could have been fiction or it could have been a reality, but hii ni kitu ambayo tulikuwa tunaambiwa zamani sana. Mimi nilikuwa mtoto mdogo, tulikuwa primary school. So this boy, when he went to visit the auntie's place, wakati alifika huko siku ya kwanza, alipatiwa yogurt, and to my house kitu kama hiyo yogurt hakuna. So kati alifika tu hivi akapatiwa yogurt, he was very happy. Kitu kama hiyo akulangi huko kwetu really. So anyway, then on that night, that evening, akapatiwa ugali na sahani ya inzi, flies. So sahani ya ugali na inzi. So the boy was very disturbed because he knew what this sahani ya inzi, but according to them, they just wanted to give him that. But that is not what the children of my sisters ate. They ate something else. But my son was given that. So that's the first night. So the following day, they cooked some nice githeri and put some meat and all that. Very good food, and he ate. And he was there for a week. So he ate. And then that night they asked, so the husband of my sister asked, my brother-in-law asked my son, oh, so when you go home, what will you tell them? Oh, yeah. So I'll tell them I was received very well. I was so happy. I was given a big glass of yogurt and I drank and I was so happy. Then in the evening, the first dinner that we had was a plate of ugali and flies, inzi. Hey! So my sister and the husband got, surely you're not going to go and tell my brother that. So, but because mtoto wangu ni mdogo, they can't tell them that. They now thought what they now wanted to do is to try and treat my son, ambaye ni their nephew, very well, so that they can corrupt his mind, wamchanganye ili asiweze kujua, so that akikuja nyumbani asikuje aniambie alipatiwa inzi. Hey! So on the third night, they cooked wali wa daku na samaki. So the boy sat at the table, he ate, he enjoyed himself, there was yogurt, there was all these things. So the following day they asked him, so ukienda nyumbani, when they ask you what happened and what you ate, what will you tell them? Nitawambia when I first arrived I was given yogurt, and then on that night I was given a plate of ugali and inzi, but on the second night I had githeri and some meat. It was very nice. But on the third day, there was wali wadaku and samaki and all sort of drinks and all that. It was just fantastic. I enjoyed myself. Hey! So they started realizing this boy is not forgetting the first night. They started thinking, okay, so now what we are going to do? On the fourth night, because he's got 2 more days left, on the fourth night, they slaughtered chicken, they cooked chapatis, they cooked all sort of, they asked him what he want to eat, and he told them and he was prepared. He ate, he enjoyed. And so was the fifth night they did also that. The sixth night they took him to a restaurant in town. He ate whatever he wanted in that restaurant and all that. Just whatever drink he wanted. They was taken to the park, all that. Then the following morning he was supposed to return back to ours after a week of school holidays. So they asked him, so when you go home and your parents or your dad or my brother ask you what you ate, what are you going to tell him? So the boy, to their amazement, the boy said, the first time when I arrived here, I was given a glass of yogurt. I was very thirsty, hungry, and I enjoyed myself. But then on that very night, I ate a plate of ugali and flies, inzi. Then on the second night, I had githeri that was ilikuwa imekaangwa vizuri sana with meat and all that. On the third day, I ate wali wadaku na samaki. On the fourth day, some chicken was slaughtered and all that, and we ate with stew and all that. On the fifth day, I was asked what I needed to eat. I ate everything that I wanted. And on the sixth day, I was taken out to a hotel in the CBD, and I had so much fun before I left home. So then they had no choice. They realized, unfortunately, this boy is not going to forget the plate. So they decided, there's nothing we can do. We just have to say, in our house, there is a delicacy. And that is what we gave him on the first night. Because ni watu walikuwa na chapa. So that is a delicacy. Why? What is the moral of the story? The moral of the story goes back to what I was telling you about Conrad Lawrence, the law of imprinting, the theory, whatever you want to call it. The first thing that a child gets, whatever behavior utamuonesha, ukimshautia, ukimchapa, ukimfanyia kitu kibaya, they will remember, because that is the first thing anko yake alimfanyia. That is the first thing auntie yake alimfanyia. That is the first thing wakati walifika huko kwa hiyo holiday. That is what happened. Ukienda hata kumuuliza about the fifth day, anaweza kusahau. But the first thing, that is why unaonanga hata women, most cases, they will remember the first man that came into their life. They will remember the first man. They will remember the first husband, if they have a few. But they will literally remember the first husband. They will remember, men, you ask men, they will remember their first car. They will remember the first car they drove. They will remember the first time they fell when trying to learn how to ride a bicycle. These are things that are imprinted in the human minds, and they are very hard to forget. The first time you see something, it's imprinted in you. So, how auntie na uncle, my nephew, they thought by trying to lure this child with all these other beautiful dishes and all that, taking him out and all that, he's going to forget the first night, how they treated him. Walimpatia ugali na inzi. And to him, that was a mess. So, and they thought, anaweza kusahau, but he didn't. Because it was imprinted here. Ilikuwa hapo ndani. So wakati alirudi nyumbani, when the father asked, he told them exactly what happened. And guess what? The first thing that the father did is to pick the phone, akapigia sister yake, what's up? What's going on? Kwani mlipatia mtoto wangu inzi kwa nini? So of course then the story vile walipelekana. But what I'm trying to say, watu wangu, watoto tusicheze na mind za watoto. Na sio watoto, any human being. Na tunaongea kuhusu watoto because watoto mind zao zina grow. Wakati huo wakiwa wadogo, between the age of 5 all the way to teenager na nini, that is when their growth and development is very rapid. So wanaweka vitu sana kwa kichwa. So wakiona wewe vile una abuse mama yao, umemfanya boxing bag, unampunch na ni mwanamke, unamchapa makofi, mpaka kuna wanaume wengine wanakanyanga, wanapiga mwanamke mateke na ngumi. Na watoto wako hapo. Watoto wanasikia vile unamskrimia, unamshautia. But let me say this also. Kuna wanawake wana abuse wanaume vibaya sana in front of their children. Hata in front huko kwa community. Unasikia mtu anashout, unashangaa. Na kwa sababu ni mwanamke ana scream na anashout huko, nobody is doing anything. But of course, if it was vice versa, the man was shouting and screaming or shuffling this woman around, it will break out ndani ya huko, kama ni community ama ni marketplace ama ni town, it will become, because people will always protect a woman. But when a woman is abusing a man, and here I'm not going feminist or whatever, I'm just saying how it is. Now if you think I'm saying something wrong, say hapa hiyo ni uongo. That is the truth. So what I'm saying, kuna pia a lot of women that are abusing men nowadays physically, wanachapa mpaka wanaume. Unfortunately it happens. Some men are not able to be men in their relationship or in their homes or in their marriages. They are the one to be told, do that, do this, do this, do this. At a conjugal rights, they cannot talk. Hakuna. And this is how, according to the laws of God, the man is supposed to be the head of the house. Sitaki kwanza kuhubiri hapa. Najua leo ni Sunday. But wamelaliwa vibaya sana. They have been fixed into a place. Wamewekwa kasumba ya uoga na baridi na wanachapwa. There are some countries sitaki hata kuzitaja hapa. Kuna wanaume huko hizo area in that community. So anyway, so when children see this, what is happening to their father, what is happening to their mother, some girls don't even want to think that they can have a boy as a friend, because when they see a boy, they see their father. Some boys would not even want to have a girl as a friend, because when they see a girl, they see their mother who's been beating their father. Their father has bruises everywhere. Vile amechapwa. So these children, they develop a lot of things. Kuna mashida mingi sana DV inaleta ndani ya watoto. Inaweka watoto uoga. Kuna watoto mpaka inabaki sasa wamekuwa na uoga, they can't talk. Hata wakienda huko nje they can't talk because wako na uoga. Wanafikiria wakijaribu kuongea watu watawafokea, kama vile kwao nyumbani kuna kuaga na kufokeana back and forth. Watoto wanashikangwa mpaka unakuta wanakojoa, wanajikojolea. They wet the bed because ya hizo kelele, fujo na ghasia. Their growth and development inakuwa deterred. Unakuta sasa huyo mtoto psychologically, emotionally hayuko sawa because amezoea kelele. They do not perform very well in school because of what has been happening. You know, so there's a lot of issues that happen ndani ya watoto wale ambaye wanalelewa ndani ya DV. They themselves can become abusers in their later life because again there are things that were imprinted. That does not mean that ule mtoto ambaye amepitia through homestead kama hizo they will become an abuser. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying kuna chances ya wale watoto kama hao, they themselves can become abusers to their own partners. Or children themselves can start imitating the behavior of the parent and they start doing the same to their own siblings. Huko tu kwa hiyo nyumba, wewe unafikiria wewe ni bwana yako ama bibi yako ndio mnachapanaga, lakini mkitoka mkienda watoto wako wanabaki wakichapana wao wenyewe because that's all they know. So unakuta sasa ndani ya ile homestead vita is non-stop from watoto to watoto. This one is anafanyia huyu mwingine hivi, huyu anafanyia hivi. It's the effect and the domino effect is endless. So watu wangu, domestic violence ni kitu ambaye hautaki. Now there is one thing mimi ningependa kusema. Tafadhali, soon as mtu akishaanza kukuwekelea mikono, soon as wewe ukiona your husband ameanza kuwa physical, soon as ukiona your wife ameanza kuwa physical, they don't want to talk anymore. They scream all the time. They shove you around. They have started to do things that are contrary to what you guys agreed wakati mlifunga harusi ama ndoa. When you got married, you say it was death do you part. But this individual now ameleta watu wengine ndani ya ndoa. Akona wanawake wengine, akona wabwana wengine. If you start seeing this kama hizi zimekuja, especially where the relationship is now physical, what we advise people is step out of that relationship. I didn't say divorce. Step out of that relationship. Because many a times individuals need to see what they have. And they never see what they have until that thing is no longer there. Kuna watu wengi sana wanafungukaga macho wakiona, my goodness, mimi sikuwa nafikiria my wife anakuanga that effective. Look at her absence. Ameenda tu holiday peke yake na mama ameenda na watoto wawili ama whatever. Just 2 days, the house is all over the place. The business is all over the place. You would not know how effective your husband is until he is not there for a week. And then you will know, surely this man anakuanga effective. I do not think I can do without this man. So sometimes ni necessary, kuliko hizi fujo na ghasia ziingie sana, step out of the relationship. Stay nje kidogo. Do not allow any man or any woman to punch your face. Mulioane ukiwa na meno zote na macho. Please do not allow somebody akung'oe macho ama meno ama umengolewa nywele. Sasa hauna nywele kwa kichwa because you've allowed every other day vita, fujo, ghasia, abuse it happen kila siku. Unanyamaza tu. Unanyamaza tu. I can give you guys another analogy ambaye ni ya frog. Kuna wakati frog, unajua frogs they are amphibians. They are cold-blooded little creatures. Kuna moja ilitolewa ndani ya maji ikawekwa ndani ya maji ambaye ni lukewarm. What it did, because it's a cold-blooded animal, it jumped out of the lukewarm immediately. It jumped out. Kwa sababu haiwezi kustand hiyo lukewarm water, ni moto tu kidogo, but inakaka kwa baridi, maji baridi. So what is it doing in some warm water? So ikatoka. But then the guy that was doing the experiment akaongezea maji baridi kidogo, so the lukewarm water became quite kind of cold. So akaweka ile frog pale ndani, ile frog ikatwitch tu kidogo, lakini ika maintain. Sasa huyu jamaa akaongezea ile maji ambayo ilikuwa hapo ndio ikakuwa lukewarm. Ikatwitch tena lakini haikuruka. So ikazoea. So huyu jamaa akaendelea kuongezea maji mpaka maji ikakuwa almost, it's very hot. The frog at the last minute miguu yake ilikuwa imeinuka juu hivi kwa maji, and the frog was dead because the frog continued to adjust to the hot water. Every time a little bit hot water was adjusted, added to the water that was there in the basin, the frog adjusted to that temperature. The frog forgot that I am a cold-blooded animal and I was supposed to jump out because I should be in the cold waters, but it continued to wait and it allowed its body to adjust to the temperature to a point that the water was now almost boiling and the frog leg and the eyes were hanging on top of the basin and it was dead. That is what happens to a lot of us ndani ya relationship. Unakaa unaongoja, unatoka huko ukuwa umengolewa macho, ukuwa hauna meno, ukuwa umevunjwa mguu, umedungwa kisu, ama hautoki huko, unakufa ndani ya relationship. That is not what God is about ndani ya relationship. Usisahau ya kwamba it is God who authored marriage. Jesus was there and he was invited in the Cana of Galilee in the first wedding. The Bible never recorded anywhere where that man and that woman or that family divorced, because Jesus was there and God is love. So marriage is supposed to be love. Relationships are supposed to be based on love. When they change from love to abuse, to commotions, to issues that you cannot deal with, jump out. Don't be that frog. Jump out. Do not allow yourself to adjust every time you are punched. You say, and then you want to go to church, so you use your makeup and you put it. So you are lying to people in church. You don't have a black eye, so you use your foundations and all that, like our ladies do, and you go to church. Of course, nobody is gonna see you because now you have faked the black spot with your foundation, and now you look more light, and we know you are a dark chocolate individual. Then next week, when you come home, of course, you remove that, the black eye will come back there. The guy will then punch you on the other side. So you keep there, and then guess what? The next time jamaa atakuweka, utafanywa what Ayubu. Utafanywa what Ayubu was done. Unajua Ayubu kule kwa True KTV. Utafanywa what Ayubu alifanywa. Ayubu alidungwa kisu ya 6 inches according to the story of kule kwa hospitali na Director J na au hospitali. So that's the story of another day that is happening very soon. Watch it. It's coming very soon. Anyway, tulikuwa na Truth Watchdog, alikuwa anaongea mambo zingine hapo, sijui hata mimi mwenyewe aliniweka kwa mitandao. I don't know for what reason. Anyway, so step out, jump out of that relationship. I'm not saying you divorce, jump out, because then kuna vile watu huanga wanafanya. You go back to the basis and you start looking at what is happening. You can go through therapy, you can go through counseling, unafanya maombi, mnaongea na wazazi, mnaongea na familia, best couple, and then mnaongea na your pastors, mnaongea na confidence, watu ambao wanaweza kuwasaidia. And then especially if you have children, try and work it out, then you can come back stronger. And do not go back to that relationship until a new commitment have been put in place. Vows have been put in place again, and from there you have checklists za kuangalia every week. And of course from there, once beaten, wazungu walisema twice shy. So if you start seeing a small you deal with it immediately. Don't leave it. Don't be with that frog that went on adjusting as an amphibian, and then it became a Sahara desert animal and he died. So that is what is happening in a lot of relationship. And who are suffering? Children and young people are suffering because they are seeing behavior they should not be seeing.